Hi, we are TutuTrain, and we are the team behind Pinit. We'll briefly introduce ourselves. My name is Tamid. I have a background in economics. I worked in the civil service, and I've just completed a 16-week bootcamp to become a software engineer. What really drew me to the sector is how creative and innovative it is, and yeah, that's it.
Hi, my name's Dan. I used to work as a sound engineer and technical engineer in the TV industry, and now I'm using my creativity and attention to detail to break into the tech industry.
Hi, my name's Graham, and I used to be a brewer. The pandemic nearly crippled that industry, but thanks to a website, we were able to sell direct to customers and save the business, and that got me interested in retraining into digital.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I have experience working in advertising and publishing. I followed my dream to learn to code and joined the bootcamp. Now I feel prepared to start building a career in tech.
Hi, I'm Maxon. I studied English at university, but it didn't end up working out. So it took a year out to think just as COVID hit. I started at the School of Code in November because I like solving puzzles and I feel that programming will help me make a difference in the world.
Hi, I'm Nadia. I have a degree in tourism management, and most recently I've helped with the launch of mobile games. And since that sounds cooler than it is, I decided to challenge myself by learning a skill that will grow with me.
We started off by listing all of our ideas onto a Miro board. We put them into different themes and voted on which ones we liked. We put all those ones we liked into a different board. In that board, we started to group them together to formulate different app ideas. We had 2 app ideas to decide between, and we settled on a pinboard app. This app would essentially pin photos to a map to store memories. We used the Disney ideation process to further our idea. The process involved the dreamer approach, the realist approach, and the critic approach. We would have to think about what we wanted to achieve. Was it realistic within 4 weeks? And is the app missing anything? We made sure to factor all these approaches in our thought process to create something innovative, fun, and different. We looked at other apps that also are photo storage apps, like Instagram and Google Drive, to make sure that we were creating something quite different. And we also looked at the current trend where users wanted to create more meaningful interactions with one another, not diluted by the social media hubbub. People also were more self-reflective now and are starting to record more of their lives. The pandemic has very much changed how things are at the moment, and I think a lot of people are now definitely more inclined to creating memories and are desiring to meet and create those memories together and look back at those in the future. And I think a lot of people are now inspired by the old-fashioned way of pictures and photos, and I think Polaroid snaps are really in. We've noticed that there's a few problems with current ways of storing photos. For example, some people do not want to show their pictures to everyone on social media. Some people would rather keep it shown to their close family and friends. Another problem we've also noticed is that the camera roll and things like Google Drive aren't really easy to access, and sometimes they don't show enough information. They don't show notes. They don't show what the meaning behind that memory is. And another problem we've also noticed is that there isn't really anything collaborative out there.
After having a vague idea of our product and what we would like to create, we did some extensive user market research. In order to gain insights, we wanted to understand who our potential users would be and what their issues and needs are. This understanding would then give us the ability to focus on building a tailored solution. As a first step in the process, we created a questionnaire which was sent out to a wide variety of people. We've received and evaluated around 90 responses and then used this information to conduct some additional in-depth interviews. Through our users' research, we were able to establish a multitude of issues and needs of our potential users. As an example, users may have trouble finding memories because of the sheer amount of information available on current social media platforms. This can lead to the memories getting lost in the overwhelming amount of data. Many potential users prioritize storing memories for themselves, and others who wish to share their memories want to be in full control of who can access which memory. The sharing should be on a case-by-case basis, rather than always having to share everything with the whole of their network. Having concluded the user research, we established our target market consists of people that enjoy storing memories, would like to share genuine and authentic memories with selected individuals, and people who enjoy documenting their travels. Based on this information, we created a multitude of user personas and stories so we could reference these throughout our development process. Some user stories, for example, include personas with faraway family wanting to find ways to share their memories across time zones, travelers who want to relive their trips, and friend groups wanting to remember shared experiences. In addition to our user research, we also looked for existing solutions in the market, but none of them solved the problem adequately. Hence, we created Pinant, a platform to remember, store, and share memories with selected individuals. And now it's time to demo.
Here we have our app's landing page. It's got some more information on how the app works and what you can expect from it. This all sounds great. Let's get logged in. We've got an example user ready to go. Upon loading, you can see that the profile picture is dynamically generated. Let's zoom out and see what are the pinnets Harry's been making. If you'd like some more information on how to use Pinnet, there's a short guide on the left-hand side. We can see that Harry's recently been on holiday to the Lake District. Clicking on a pin opens up the album associated with it. Here we can see some pictures that he's taken on his holiday. Hovering over these images, you can see the title and where that picture was taken. You've also got the options to view, edit, or delete that image. Let's take a look. Hovering over the image, you get the notes associated with that image. Let's take another look at one of Harry's pins. We can use the geolocator to search for a place. Zoom out. We can see that he's recently been on holiday in Rome. Again, clicking the pin brings up the images. Let's try making a memory ourselves. If we want to add an image to exactly where we are, we can use the geolocator. Clicking anywhere on the map gives you the option to add a pin. Let's choose a file to upload. I've got one here ready of my lovely dog Misty. This Misty in the park. Let's add some notes to that. On submission, we get confirmation that a pin's been added, and we can view it right away. Taking a look at the left-hand side of the navbar, we've got some easier options to view your images. There's memories sorted by the titles, or you can search by the places. This concludes most of the functions that Pinnet has at the moment. Let's log out. We're Team Pinnet. Thanks for your time.
During our ideation process, we decided upon 3 main elements to the app, each aimed at solving a specific issue that we found people were experiencing. Firstly, we decided that any social aspect was best kept at a very low level, limited to just close friends and family, to help keep users' personal memories private and to help Pinnet be more distinct from other photo sharing apps. Secondly, that the focus of the app should be more on the locations where the memories are made rather than some arbitrary feed. This will make it much easier for a user to look back on past events and reminisce. And lastly, something that we decided to implement later would be the ability for users to collaborate on specific trips, posting images to the same pins and possibly even generating an Indiana Jones style line following the route of a journey. We completed our initial MVP in the second week, choosing to focus solely upon the image hosting mechanics of the app. The design is, of course, lacking the map and obvious location data, but it did include location data as part of the photos databases, ready to be integrated into any map functionalities. The photos themselves are displayed in our photo grid, complete with rotation, notes, and titles. With the MVP complete, we moved on to a second iteration of a wireframe, zeroing in on our final design scheme with a left-hand sidebar and a more retro analog feel, deliberately evoking a older physical map. This version of the wireframe includes a list of other users who are part of the main user's journey. This was before we decided to focus on a single user app with private memory storage. Throughout the development process, we gradually moved from this wireframe towards a cleaner, more ergonomic design that you saw in our demo. This design is brighter and more minimalist, with the pop-ups only appearing when they're needed. And towards the end of our project and our timeline, we began taking in feedback from some testers, and we decided to include a brief how-to guide as well as brightening up some of the map tools on the right-hand side. Now, throughout our entire design process, we've been very conscious of developing our own unique sort of vision and version and UI, keeping the screen clear and allowing the user to focus on what we think is the most important element of the app, the map itself.
This is our main tech stack. We built a React front end and deployed it on Netlify, and a back end using Express.js and Postgres tables deployed on Heroku. Auth0 was also used for authorization. We had originally decided to look into AWS S3 bucket storage for our photo storage. This was a brand new technology for us and we were very keen to learn about it. However, due to time constraints, we opted to use Cloudinary, which was much easier to implement into the current state of our app. In a future iteration, we certainly would look to use AWS S3 buckets. We chose a new Scrum Master for each of our sprints so that we all had the chance to gain the experience of being in that position. We held daily morning stand-ups, midday meetings, and a retro to finish the day. We recorded our daily retros in a Google Docs so that we were able to look back on our progress. Our general organisation and delegation of tasks relied on Jira, where we split our sprints into smaller tasks and were able to add tasks if and when they came up. Most mornings after stand-ups, we merged our work from the previous day, and this was done using pull requests, where we reviewed each other's code before merging. We had planned from the beginning to do unit testing. We found that most of the main components that we used in our app already had tests built for them, like the map, for example. Due to time constraints, we decided to rely mostly on these pre-made tests. We would love to write our own bespoke tests for these components in a future iteration. Most testing was through querying our database in Postman, ensuring that we could get, post, and delete the right data. Another form of testing was user testing. We gained useful insight into the user experience of our app by asking users for feedback. One example was that users said that it was not clear you could click on the back of a photo when the photo flipped round, so we added a view button. And another example is that the controls on the right-hand side of the map were not clear enough, and we decided to make them red with a white outline to draw more attention to them.
We designed user experience with accessibility in mind, thus making our elements have feedback, cursor icon changing, colors of pins changing on form submission. We tested our app with the accessibility standards and Lighthouse. Whilst we gained a good score with these automatic tests, we would like to include a high contrast mode in a future iteration of our app or introduce color customization. We would work towards meeting AA standards of web content accessibility guidelines. Our app aspires to follow the 12-factor app development standards, like using Git as a version control system, having all dependencies in JSON file, and using environment variables. For future plans, we would like to improve performance with code splitting for faster on-demand load. This can be achieved with JavaScript bundles with React Lazy or loadable components. We also plan to have multiple users, and for that we would need to refactor our database tables and allow collaboration by setting access via Auth0. A mobile version is also needed for a complete experience.
Our journey was educational. We learned to understand errors we encountered and look for typos first. We learned to be flexible, especially when selecting technology, and have a plan to give it a try and then evaluate the result. Working with databases, we learned to start with only the essential queries and have a clear understanding of how we would like to scale. After experiencing merge conflicts, we learned to coordinate even better and merge more often. We're glad we encountered issues as they allowed us to become better developers. Thank you.